Hello, world.
If this phrase means something to you, you are probably a developer or on a journey to become one. Its significance is that of tradition, where new learners of a given programming language are expected to write in that language's syntax a program that prints out the words, "Hello, world." But how did this ritual start? Why did it become the de facto standard for breaking in a new programming language? What exactly does it do for us? The first documented Hello World program is believed to be the one found in A Tutorial Introduction to the Language B, written by Brian Kernighan at Bell Labs in 1972. The code looked like this. The purpose was to showcase the external variable feature of the B language, where you can reference variables outside of a function using the extern keyword. Statements within the function could then use the variables despite them otherwise being outside of the function scope. In this case, the main function is making multiple calls to the putChar function, which appears to put characters onto the terminal. The character data type is only 4 ASCII characters long, and so the print must be split into multiple calls, and is why our Hello World text is defined across 3 different variables. But why Hello World in particular? The phrase itself existed for over a decade before its appearance in Kernighan's book. It was the signature catchphrase of William B. William, a New York City radio DJ at WNEW, who would often say the phrase before transitioning into the song to be played. It doesn't appear that this is where Kernighan got the idea from, however. Clive Thompson, in an article he wrote for Slate in 2019, states that he talked to Kernighan on the phone and asked him. The answer was that he simply decided to use it after he saw, and I quote, some cartoon of a chick coming out of an egg, and it says "Hello World." After its first appearance in Kernighan's tutorial on the B programming language, it of course made its way into 1978's The C programming language, another text written by Kernighan and co-authored by Dennis Ritchie, the creator of the C programming language. In this text, we see the program as we all know it, a single line dedicated to printing out the words "Hello World." No variables, no keywords, just printing. The popularity of the C language, combined with the usefulness of Kernighan and Ritchie's book, positioned the Hello World program to become sort of a meme inside of programming circles. When developers of the day would work on their own C compilers, it would be a "Hello World" on the terminal that would indicate that their effort had finally paid off. Once Hello World ascended to memehood, it was only natural that other introductory texts to other languages followed suit, and the programming ritual we all know and love was established as an effective means to communicate a language's syntax to the user. Because one of the purposes of a Hello World program is to concisely communicate a fair amount of a language's syntax, and languages vary in how complex it is to print to the console, it begs the question if Hello World is always the best first program. For example, in Python, all one needs to do to print out Hello World to the console is call the built-in print function, with the argument being the string Hello World. This demonstrates Python's convenience, sure, but we'd be hard-pressed to come up with our own program by just extrapolating this code. Meanwhile, C's Hello World teaches us how to define functions, write statements, and that a program must contain a main function. However, this way of thinking focuses on solely the language itself, and not what it takes to actually run code for that language. Sure, the Hello World program is trivial for Python, but at the end of the day, it still forces new developers to ensure the installation of Python is correct, something that isn't always easy to get right for those new to programming. Aside from its educational utility, the Hello World program has also served as a qualitative metric for a programming language's complexity. Since a Hello World program, by its very nature, must be syntactically valid and semantically simple, viewing such a program in a given language will provide a feel for how difficult it may be. A supposedly more quantitative metric called time to hello world aims to add a numerical value to the complexity of a language by estimating how long it would take for a new user to write a hello world program in some language, including installation of any toolchains or interpreters, writing the code, and compiling if needed. The concept of time to hello world has expanded beyond just programming languages. It can be used to represent the time it takes for a user to implement an API or new framework within their own project. It can also be used to describe the time it takes for a developer to get started on a new team within a company. The usage of hello world in such instances is not literal, but is instead referring to the more general concept of how long it takes before one is productive under such scenarios. It is also known as bootstrap time. I think the fact that hello world programs are still around after 50 years is really neat. While its utilitarian purpose stands on its own, I think its true value is allowing new generations of programmers to connect with older ones in an industry whose rapid environment often doesn't allow for it. My first program may have been written 30 years after yours, but there's a good chance it did the same thing. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd like the video and share it with your friends. If you want to see more content like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you.